USGS, Science for a Changing World.
Earth as Art 1. West Fjords. The West Fjords are a series of peninsulas in northwestern Iceland. They represent less than 1/8 the country's land area, but their jagged perimeter accounts for more than half of Iceland's total coastline. Whirlpool in the air. This image shows a spinning formation of ice, clouds, and low-lying fog off the eastern coast of Greenland. Greenland coast. Along Greenland's western coast, a small field of glaciers surrounds Baffin Bay. Akpatak Island. Akpatak Island lies in Ungava Bay in northern Quebec, Canada. Accessible only by air, Akpatak Island rises out of the water as sheer cliffs that soar 500 to 800 feet above the sea surface. The island is an important sanctuary for cliff-nesting seabirds. Numerous ice floes around the island attract walrus and whales, making Akpatak Island a traditional hunting ground for the native Inuit people. Yellowknife Wetlands. Extensive wetlands lie near the town of Yellowknife, near the Great Slave Lake in Northwestern Territories, Canada. The shallow lakes seen in this image have formed in grooves in the landscape that were carved by glaciers during the last ice age. Malaspina Glacier. The tongue of the Malaspina Glacier, the largest glacier in Alaska, fills most of this image. The Malaspina lies west of Yucatan Bay and covers 1,500 square miles. Aleutian Clouds. These cloud formations were seen over the western Aleutian Islands. Their color variations are probably due to differences in temperature and the size of water droplets that make up the clouds. Brautona. These Karman vortices formed over the islands of Brautona, Chirpoy, and Brat Chirpoyev, all part of the Kuril Island chain found between Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula and Japan. The Main River. The Main River, seen here with what is thought to be a portion of the Andir River, flows through the far northeastern corner of Siberia. The Lena Delta. The Lena River, some 2,800 miles long, is one of the largest rivers in the world. The Lena Delta Reserve is the most extensive protected wilderness area in Russia. It is an important refuge and breeding ground for many species of Siberian wildlife. Dragon Lake. Nicknamed Dragon Lake, this body of water is formed by the Bratskov Reservoir, built along the Angara River in southern Siberia, near the city of Bratsk. This image was acquired in winter, when the lake is frozen. Adregin Nuru. The Adregin Nuru forms a transition zone between the Mongolian steppes to the north and the arid deserts of northern China to the south. The Suliman Mountains. The Suliman Mountains are a major geological feature of Pakistan and one of the bordering ranges of the Indian subcontinent. McDonnell Ranges. The McDonnell Ranges are a band of mountains spanning Australia's arid interior. Only a portion of these ranges can be seen in this image. Great Sandy Scars. In a small corner of the vast Great Sandy Desert in Western Australia, large sand dunes, the only sand in this desert of scrub and rock, appear as lines stretching from left to right. The light-colored tan shapes are scars from wildfires. Lake Carnegie. Ephemeral Lake Carnegie in Western Australia fills with water only during periods of significant rainfall. In dry years, it's reduced to a muddy marsh. The Lambert Glacier. The Lambert Glacier in Antarctica is the world's largest glacier. The focal point of this image is an icefall that feeds into the glacier from the vast ice sheet covering the polar plateau. Ice flows like water, albeit much more slowly. Cracks can be seen on this ice fall as it blends and twists on its slow motion descent 1,300 feet to the glacier below. Namaqualand. Namaqualand in South Africa is known as the Gem of the Northern Cape. Portions of this area were turned into a national park in 1999 to preserve the abundant wildlife and brilliant wildflowers native to the area. The Namib Desert. Namib Naukluft National Park is an ecological preserve in Namibia's vast Namib Desert. Coastal winds create the tallest sand dunes in the world here, with some dunes reaching 980 feet in height. The Optimist. On the edge of the Kalahari Desert in Namibia, sand dunes are encroaching onto once fertile lands in the north. Healthy vegetation appears red in this image. In the center, notice the lone red dot. This is the result of a center pivot irrigation system, evidence that at least one optimistic farmer continues to work the fields despite the approaching sand. Kilimanjaro. Portions of Kenya and Tanzania, Africa can be seen in this image. The peak of Kilimanjaro is on the right. The mountain is flanked by the plains of Amboseli National Park to the north and the rugged Arusha National Park to the south and west. Iraqi emplacement. In an area north of the city al-Bashra, Iraq, which borders Iran, a former wetland has been drained and walled off. Now littered with minefields and gun emplacements, it's a staging area for military exercises. Konari, Iran. The Mand River and the small town of Konari nestle in the Zagros Mountains in western Iran. Volga River Delta. Where the Volga River flows into the Caspian Sea, it creates an extensive delta. The Volga Delta is comprised of more than 500 channels and sustains the most productive fishing grounds in Eurasia. Turkesi Oasis. A series of rocky outcroppings are a prominent feature in this Sahara Desert landscape near the Turkesi Oasis in the country of Chad. Gadames River. This scar on the arid landscape is the dry riverbed of the Gadames River in the Tinhret Hamada Mountains near Gadames, Libya. The Atlas Mountains. These are the Anti-Atlas Mountains, part of the Atlas mountain range in southern Morocco, Africa. The region contains some of the world's largest and most diverse mineral resources, most of which are still untouched. The Richat Structure. The so-called Richat Structure is a geological formation in the Mar Adrar Desert in the African country of Mauritania. Although it resembles an impact crater, the Richat Structure formed when a volcanic dome hardened and gradually eroded, exposing onion-like layers of rock. Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau is a small country in West Africa. Complex patterns can be seen in the shallow waters along its coastline, where silt carried by the Giba and other rivers washes out into the Atlantic Ocean. The Parana River Delta. The Parana River Delta is a huge forested marshland about 32 kilometers northeast of Buenos Aires, Argentina. The area is a very popular tour destination. Guided boat tours can be taken into this vast labyrinth of marsh and trees. The Parana River Delta is one of the world's greatest birdwatching destinations. This image highlights the striking contrast between the dense forest and wetland marshes and the deep blue ribbon of the Parana River. Kármán vortices. Each of these swirling clouds is the result of a meteorological phenomenon known as the Kármán vortex. These vortices appear over Alexander Selkirk Island in the southern Pacific Ocean. Rising precipitously from the surrounding waters, the island's highest point is nearly a mile above sea level. As wind-driven clouds encounter this obstacle, they flow around it to form these large spinning eddies. Chilean volcanoes. On the border between Chile and the Catamarca province of Argentina lies a vast field of currently dormant volcanoes. Over time, these volcanoes have laid down a crust of magma roughly 2 miles thick. It's tinged with a patina of various colors that indicate both the age and mineral content of the original lava flows. Bolivian deforestation. Once a vast carpet of healthy vegetation, the Amazon rainforest is changing rapidly. This image of Bolivia shows dramatic deforestation in the Amazon basin. Loggers have cut long paths into the forest, while ranchers have cleared large blocks for their herds. Fanning out from these clear-cut areas are settlements built in radial arrangements of fields and farms. Healthy vegetation appears in bright red in this image. Demini River. A marsh-like area borders the Demini River in northwest Brazil. The Demini eventually joins the Amazon River. Araca River. Brazil's Araca River is a tributary to the Negro River, which feeds into the Amazon. Florida Everglades. Spanning the southern tip of the Florida Peninsula and most of Florida Bay, Everglades National Park is the only subtropical preserve in North America. It is the only place in the world where alligators and crocodiles exist side by side. Coahuila, Mexico. This desolate landscape is part of the Sierra Madre Oriental Mountain Range on the border between Coahuila and Nuevo Leon provinces in Mexico. Garden City, Kansas. Center pivot irrigation systems created these circular patterns in cropland near Garden City, Kansas. The red circles indicate irrigated crops of healthy vegetation. The light-colored circles represent harvested crops.